to fit in and just find your people and find. My light just fell. That was awkward. I'll be right back. So the other day I watched the film 8th Grade. Now, I'm a millennial, and this movie was about the experience of a Gen Z middle schooler. So there were definitely differences between my middle school experience and the middle school experience of the main character, but there were also similarities and moments where I was like, it may. So in this video, I'm gonna go over those similarities and differences, and then later talk about like the cinematography, the editing, soundtrack, and all those other things that are film related. The very first thing I noticed where I was like, man, that was me in middle school, was her stature, her posture. She had what I call the middle school slump. Like, you know, where your shoulders just kind of like are just like this all the time, and you got your backpack on and you walk like this because your backpack is really heavy. She had that, and I definitely had that when I was in middle school as well. And I'm still honestly trying to work on my posture to this very day. I've gone to a chiropractor. I try to do yoga every now and then. You definitely reap the consequences of not standing up straight in middle school in your adult years. The second similarity that I noticed was what I like to call the crush factor. Every one of us at some point has had a crush on someone, but in middle school, crush is just kind of, it's just different. Like, it just hits you a different kind of way. So in the case of this story, whenever she saw her crush, time would like slow down. Everything would just go into slow motion. And then you would hear that soundtrack. And so this specific song would come on every single time she saw her crush. And so little 12-year-old me also kind of had some songs that would play whenever my crush would walk down the hallway with his thigh still. And the songs that would go on in my head were Fantasia's When I See You, classic, Mario's Let Me Love You, Leona Lewis's Bleeding in Love, and Alicia Keys's No One. The third similarity was this overall awkwardness that I think everyone at some point experiences in their middle school years. You're trying to find your friend group. You're trying to fit into certain clothes, but you can't because you got that middle school weight. You're trying to figure out what's popular, and you know, there's so much awkwardness that goes on with middle school. Your body's changing. There's tons of hormones. I was awkward in middle school. When you're that awkward kid in middle school, it makes you feel like an other, and you're kind of like, you know, that picture of the fish that's like going this way, and then all the other fish are going this way. Hey, like, it's one thing to see that fish, it's another thing to be that fish. Not even intentionally going against the grain, you just kind of internally feel that. And so that just kind of exudes throughout the movie, her kind of internal experience and this kind of battle of her finding herself. So the differences are where the generational thing kind of comes into play the most. The first difference that I noticed, and it's a major kind of theme throughout the film, is the role of social media in this character's life. I feel for this generation because it's like there's already so much pressure internally when you're in middle school, and then you have external pressure from your peers and your parents and all sorts of different things. And now with social media, it's like extra external pressure, and you have trolls, and it's a lot. The second difference is that I actually enjoyed my 8th grade year. I mean, middle school was awkward. Middle school had all these different things going on and whatnot, but 8th grade, I was at the top. I was like you couldn't stop me. Like, I granted wasn't the best person maybe in 8th grade. I wasn't a bad person. I wasn't a terrible person in 8th grade. I had my friends, I had, you know, ambitions, and I was excited about going to high school and choosing which high school I was gonna go to. It was a fun year for me. It was hella entertaining because my class acted up. I'll just say this, at some point during my 8th grade year, our gym teacher got locked in the gym closet and her keys got thrown out in the parking lot. I wasn't a part of that group, but I laughed. I still kind of chuckle this day. I hope she's doing well. You know, I feel like I laughed my way through 8th grade. That's how entertaining 8th grade was for me. It wasn't that awkward for me. The third difference, and this might just be a personal one, but growing up in 8th grade, in 6th, 7th, whatever grade, I would not have been able to get away talking back to my parents the way little Kayla talked back to her dad. Now I understand that, you know, her mom wasn't in the picture, and so she was probably dealing with, you know, some different things, but I tell you, I had a smart mouth and I would try to talk back at times, but all my parents had to do was hit me with a, who do you think you're talking to? And I'd be like, myself. Oh, she tried it. I tried. It didn't usually end well for me. Moving on to the more cinematic things, I thought the cinematography was great. It did a great job of showing kind of the emotions between different characters with the shot choices. Like, there's this moment where she's all the way back where like her dad is standing at the door of her room and she's sitting all the way in her bed with like just her cell phone light, and she's giving him like short answers because they just got in an argument or something like that, and you just feel that awkward tension between them. And so I think it did a great job of kind of portraying those different emotions with the cinematography. The soundtrack kind of caught me. It wasn't a bad soundtrack, and it definitely made sense at points. Like, for example, the main character, Kayla, she does YouTube. And so whenever she was about to make a YouTube video, even if it was a completely different scene, you would hear like these 3 beeps or so. And so that was really cool. But there's like, sometimes it's had like this really obnoxious kind of blaring techno kind of sound, and I don't know if that was like supposed to represent the music of her generation. I don't think so. I didn't really care for it. But overall, the film was great. This is the first Bo Burnham film I've ever seen before. I don't know if he's made any other films, but if he has, or if he is going to, I'd love to check those out, because I think this one was a good one. And I think if you're in middle school, or if you've gone through middle school, I think you'll enjoy it. On Letterboxd, I gave it 4 stars, and I said it was a charming homage to the awkwardness of middle school and the bravery it takes to get through it, because man, oh man, do you need some courage to get through middle school at times. I needed it for sure. That's all I got for you. My time is up. If you've seen the film, comment down below your thoughts on it, or if you can remember your middle school crush's theme song, comment that down below as well. Was Fantasia's When I See You on there? Don't act like it wasn't a classic. It was a classic, still is, to this day. If you like this video, go ahead and show your external approval and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe, because I'll be adding more reviews and reflections on films and all sorts of things related to film and video making. Till next time, Gucci.